Welcome back, everyone, to my humble workshop of decks. Today we have our Day 0 build for Pumat Sol Magical Proprietor. And I'm gonna be upfront with you guys, if this one seems a little weird or lackluster, it's because I did not enjoy this one. Little background, I usually do 1 to 2 builds a night when I'm doing these Day 0s so I don't burn out. But when I found out that my locals, Olin and Dylan, wanted to do Day 0 testing, I realized I had to crunch the last couple of decks as quickly as possible. And it wasn't until I built Taron Darrington? You'll see him in a few videos, that I realized that him and the Pumat deck that I had built were virtually identical. And I want to kind of show off in these Day 0 builds what this character wants to do, and while they have similar game plans, I wanted to go back and redo this Pumat deck to do something that he himself focuses on different than Taron, so that they're not the same deck. And this is a character that already gave me a little bit of trouble, because he's very much not my wheelhouse in terms of characters, and technically neither is Taron. So going back to back, building this deck and Taron, and then having to rebuild Pumat, this may not be 100% my best work, so if it feels a little weird, that's why. But without further ado, every character does deserve a shot, and I gave Pumat the best shot I could for a Day 0. He is a 6 hand size 28 health character, with Air, Chaos, and Order as his symbols. He's got Inventor and Mage as his character traits, and interestingly, he is the only mage in the set that does not focus on action cards. Kind of interesting. We have 2 abilities on Pumat. Enhance once per turn, remove 1 foundation from your stage, build 1 asset or backup from your hand. So originally I had built this as a very asset-heavy themed deck, until I built the Taron deck, or Taron, or whoever he is, and I realized that they're both very asset-heavy characters, and I think I built them on the same symbol too, so I went ahead and switched this to a backup-themed character, because he can work with backups or assets, and I think I figured out a fun little trick, so hopefully that'll make up for the mess, which, considering he can multiply himself to take care of things around his shop, a little mess is expected. But we also have a response once per turn. Discard 1 card, that's our cost. After we play an attack card, choose one of these following effects. That attack gets EX3, which is good. That's a way to spend our momentum for speed. Our rival commits 2 foundations. That's pretty good. Stun 2 at response speed is really strong. Or we get to draw 2 cards. So a very good range of options there. Now, one of the things I was working on in the Air Assets build was a card called Covert Assault, I want to say? It's from Attack on Titan Origins of Power. It's an attack card that when you block with it, you can either ready 2 foundations, or your opponent can commit 2 foundations to cancel it. So, because Pumat here says after you play an attack card, this includes if you block with an attack. So you can just discard a card, oh, I'm going to make you commit to, after you've already selected to commit to, after letting me, instead of me readying 2 things. So that's an interesting trick I did want to mention, even though it did not make it into the cut of this deck. So what does Pumat want to do? He wants to build assets and backups. 2 things that don't really have much synergy with each other, so you usually want to focus on either an asset build or a backup build. I chose a backup build for this one. And he has a whole bunch of different options that he can use a card from his hand to do on either turn cycle. Anytime he plays an attack card, you can either give your kill attack a lot of speed so your rival can't block it, you can force them to commit 2 foundations, which offensively and defensively is very powerful, or you can draw extra cards so that you have more options to go through the turn with. So let's get into the attack package here. The attack packages start with Armored Titan Rush. This is a shift attack from the Attack on Titan Origins of Power. It's a 7/3, 6 mid for 9. big damage, with a +2 mid block, Shift, and Titan as its keywords. The Shift keyword being a static that says, at the start of your end, or when you clear this card during your end phase, if you played it this turn, you may build it into your stage transformed. As you can see, it transforms into Reiner's Toughness. So basically this attack, if you play it as an attack during your turn, can transform into a foundation, which is pretty good, pretty solid there. So this attack has a static that says its attack's damage cannot be reduced below printed. You cannot go below 9 damage. That's a lot of damage. Imagine smacking EX3 on this bad boy with Pumat. We have a Blitz. Our rival cannot block this card with a non-attack card. So they're either taking all the damage, or we're fishing an attack out of their hand so they don't get to attack us on the backswing. And a Blitz, Ruin 1, which means our rival has to sacrifice 1 face-down foundation. So we get to debuild them, and we pretty much force 9 damage minimum down their throat. Very solid attack, especially as a 7 difficulty move, and then when it transforms into Reiner's Toughness, it has Enhance, Sacrifice, reduce this attack's damage to 0. So a very powerful defensive piece, very strong offensive attack. This is a really cool attack. And the main reason I decided to build this as a backup character, aside from just wanting to do something different than a deck I had also built, Emerge Victorious. This is a really cool attack from Attack on Titan Battle for Humanity that sees 0 play. It is a 5/3, 5 mid for 5 with a 1 mid block, EX2, so it's already got that speed buff enhance. As a Blitz, our cost is sacrifice, not even a cost, sacrifice 1 backup. If you did, reveal cards from the top of your deck until you reveal a Shift Titan attack or a Titan backup. If the revealed card is a Shift Titan attack, build it transformed. If the revealed card is a Titan backup, we build it, and then we place the other revealed cards on the bottom of our deck in a random order. So we don't lose the cards out of the deck. That's really good, and we gain a shifted backup. Or maybe we reveal Armor Titan Rush and we just build in Reiner's Toughness for free. Or, skipping ahead a little bit, what if we flip it a Colossus Titan attacks, and we get to build the Colossus Titan as a backup without having to play this 10 difficulty attack? We'll get to that more in a minute. So it's a very powerful flow piece that we give up one of our backups, and as you can see we have other backups in the deck. We give up a backup that we can build in for free. Well, we remove a foundation to do so, but we build in our backups with Pumat, and then we sacrifice 1 in order to hopefully get a stronger backup without having to play a very high difficulty attack. It's really tricky, and also just kind of cool, and I'm interested to see how this would go in a character like Pumat, and I'm actually going through looking at other characters that Emerge Victorious can really work into. And I guess I have to give Pumat this. If I hadn't built this deck, I wouldn't be thinking about this combo here. Next up we have Knockdown Blow, a 7/4 for difficulty, or for control attacks are really cool. 7 high for 7 with a 2 high block, Punch, and Titan. As a Blitz, our next check to play either a backup or a shift attack gets +3. And if we play a shift attack this way, it gets +3 damage. So imagine starting with Knockdown Blow on a 7, likely having to commit at least 2 foundations. Then you wanted to play an Armor Titan Rush. You'd be playing that on an 8, because 7 + 1 progressive difficulty. If you check a 5, that automatically passes. So, because you get the +3 to your check from Knockdown Blow, this gets +3 damage. It's a 6 mid 12 at this point. If your rival didn't want to take 7 damage, they've likely blocked. And then you can give Armor Titan Rush EX3 to try to force 12 damage down their throat. Really powerful combination there. It's a really good flow card that just allows your higher difficulty moves to not feel quite so challenging. Then we have Attack Titan attacks, an 8/4, 5 high for 8 with a 2 high block, Shift, Fury, and Titan. It has a Deadlock Blitz to ruin 1, which means our rival has to sacrifice a face-down foundation, but only if they have at least 11 foundations, because it's a Deadlock Blitz. On the transformed side, the Attack Titan. It's an 8 stamina backup. As an enhance, we can commit it and lose 1 stamina. This attack gets +2 damage. Some good damage buff there, especially if we're giving an attack EX3 with Pumat. But as a form, we can commit it and lose 4 stamina. As our next form, try to play this card's attack side, and it gets -3 difficulty. So this 8 difficulty move, we play this from our stage as a 5 difficulty move. Significantly cheaper, significantly easier to play. And especially if we do something like a knockdown blow, we can play it later in the string because it says our next check to play a shift attack. So we can knockdown blow, and let's say we already have an Attack Titan attacks. We can play an Emerge Victorious because it's not a shift attack, play that on a 6, and then play the shift form on Attack Titan to play it as a 5 diff. So 5 + 2 progressive difficulty, that's 7, and we're going to get +3 to the check. Pretty good. You can see how Knockdown Flow really greases the wheels for a lot of these higher difficulty attacks. But the big behemoth himself, Colossus Titan attacks. This is a 10 difficulty 4 control, 6 mid for 10 with a 1 mid block. It's got Shift, Throw, and Titan. So as a throw, it will always deal at least half damage rounded up, even if completely blocked. As a blitz, we add the top 2 cards of our deck to our momentum. That seems very handy for the EX3 that Pumat Sol can give us. That's 6 speed right there from this Colossus Titan attacks. But the shifted side is where it gets interesting. It's got 10 stamina. As a form, we commit it and lose 6 of that stamina. Our rival has to discard 2 cards and flip 2 foundations. That is huge. So imagine as our first attack, we emerge victorious and we hit a Colossus Titan attacks. As our next form, we tell our rival, you lose 2 cards out of your hand. Sorry. And if they have no more cards left in their hand because they didn't expect to see Colossus Titan attacks, we can just throw all of these attacks and just completely decimate our rival. It is incredible. We also have Enhance Commit, lose 1 stamina. This attack gets 2 damage. Again, if we're already giving our attack EX3, we just want to put damage on it after that. And as a response, after this card leaves our stage, we get to draw a card. If we burn all of its stamina for its effects, or likely our rival's going to try to attack this in order to get it off our board so that we don't get to play it anymore. Which, A, takes an attack for us as Pumat, that's one less attack that's coming at us, and we get to draw a card on our rival's turn for them destroying it for us. We also have Smiling Titan attacks, a 7/4, 6 high for 6 with a 1 high block, Shift, and Titan. As a blitz, our rival spends 1 momentum. A little bit of momentum hate there. And then on its backup side, it's got 6 stamina, and as a form, we commit it and lose 1 stamina. Our rival's first attack during their next turn has to attack the Smiling Titan instead of us. So again, getting 1 attack less thrown at us means we can probably survive a few more turns than we normally would. And with something like Knockdown Blow, or as we'll see later, City Rampage, this is a card we're more than willing to play as an attack, but also to be able to build it with Emerge Victorious is also very defensively powerful, as opposed to, say, a Colossus Titan or an Attack Titan to be offensively powerful. And our last attack is Duel of the Ackermans, a 5/3, 5 high for 4 with a 2 high block, Echo, ranged, and weapon. As a blitz, we selectively destroy 1 rival foundation, but our rival may lose 3 health to cancel this ability. So if we've forced our rival to commit foundations with Pumat, either blocking with an attack and then playing an attack that's committing 4 foundations, we can selectively target their best foundation and say, you're either going to lose 3 health or you're losing that foundation. Kind of a tough choice sometimes, depending on the foundation. And with the Echo ability, this gives us another use for our momentum to, after this attack resolves, spend 1 momentum to play it again as our next form from our card pool, but then after it resolves for the second time, we do have to flip it face down in our card pool. So we could use this blitz twice, forcing our rival to give up 6 health, or lose up to 2 of their best foundations. And debuilding twice on our turn, when then we can block with an attack and force our rival to commit 2 other foundations on their turn, could be a great way to keep our rival kind of held back in check, especially if they have to attack Smiling Titan as their first attack, or they want to attack Colossus Titan so we can't use that ability. It really puts our rival in a tough position with some tough choices that they need to make. So that's all for our attack package. Let's move on to our assets. We have the USS Cerritos NCC 75567. Ugh, that hurts. This is a 6/4, 3 difficulty, 3 mid-block asset, unique and ship. As a form, once per turn, we get to reveal the top 3 cards of our deck. We get to put 1 of them into our hand, 1 to the bottom of the deck, and 1 on top of the deck. So we can hopefully draw an extra attack, place a 5 or a 6 check on top, and then maybe put a bad check to the bottom. Now, 6 difficulty asset seems really hard to deal with, really unwieldy, until you remember that by removing a foundation, Pumat can build it in for free. And this is a once per turn form, so we can do this at the beginning of our turn to sculpt our first attack, or we can do it mid-turn to sculpt to guarantee that we can play our 3rd attack or our 4th attack, or whatever we need to do. Or if we know that we're going to maybe pass, we can try to sculpt some blocks, a better block into our hand, and put a good 5 or 6 check on top of the deck to block on our rival's turn. And then we have Cape of No Return, a 3/4, 3 high block. Enhance remove this attack from the game. Very solid defensive piece, especially when we have backups that our rival's going to want to get rid of, because they can attack Smiling Titan, and then we can remove it with Cape of No Return. Sure, they didn't attack Smiling Titan, but now unless they attack Smiling Titan again, we can just get rid of their first attack on their next turn. So really forcing our rival to double up in some cases on trying to get rid of our defensive pieces. On to actions, we have City Rampage, a Godzilla staple, a 5/5 with a 1 mid-block. As a static, while this card is in our card pool, our attacks get +1 speed and +1 damage. So Armored Titan Rush is a 7 mid-10. That's incredible. Knockdown blows an 8 high 8. Colossus Titan attacks is a 6 high 9. Colossus Titan is a 7 mid 11. Attack Titan attacks is you guys know what I'm talking about. It's highlighted. And as a form, our checks to play attacks with a printed difficulty of 5 or greater get +2 for the rest of the turn. That's huge. All of our attacks, including Emerge Victorious, are 5 diffs. So we're going to get a bonus to our checks to play any attack in our deck. Plus, if we combine that with Knockdown Blow, our next check to play a shift attack will get +5. So imagine you play Knockdown Blow as your first attack after playing City Rampage. So you make your check on an 8, you check a 5, that's 6, 7, commit 1. Your next check to play a shift attack is +3. You play Colossus Titan attacks on a 12. You check a 5, that gets +5. You only have to commit 2 foundations to play this 10 difficulty attack. And not only does it get +1/+1 from City Rampage, making it a 7 mid 11, it gets +3 damage from Knockdown Blow to make it a 7 mid 14. Jeez. So very powerful here. In fact, one of the characters I'm looking at to do this similar package is Godzilla himself, because I had itchy thoughts today, and deck building helps me scratch that itch. But now onto backups. These are backups that we're able to build with Pumat that we can then sacrifice for Emerge Victorious or use any other fun different ways. We have Sean Gilmore, who is a common card that me and my friends have not pulled in our like 3 pre-release kits. But he's a 3/5 with 4 stamina and a 2 mid block, ally, unique, mage, and party. As a static, while he is in our stage, our character is a mage, which we already are. As an enhance, we commit this card, our next check gets +2. So hey, let's say we're going to play this Colossus Titan attacks on a 12. After playing Knockdown Blow and City Rampage, I'm going to give my next check +2. I check a 5, it automatically passes. Disgusting. We have Spiraling Fetch, a 3/5, 4 stamina with a 2 low block, ally, unique, party, and thief. As a static, we are a thief when we have this in our stage. Enhance commit, this attack gets +2 speed and remove the top card of our rival's deck. So we can boost the speed of our attacks to make them even harder to block after forcing our rival to commit 2 foundations with Pumat. We have Shikaste, a 3/5, 5 stamina, 2 low block, ally, unique, healer, and party. While this card's in our stage, we're a healer, and we can commit this to gain 2 health. So, gaining a little bit more health, kind of just undoing the damage that our rival's doing until they try to attack Shikaste to try to stop us from, obviously, healing. But again, any attack that attacks a backup is less damage than our character's taking. So, sure, go ahead. Waste your attacks on my backups so that I can't play Emerge Victorious, maybe. But that just means I'm not taking any damage this turn, and I'm perfectly fine with that. And then we have Riani, a 4/4, 5 stamina, 2 mid block, unique, ally, party, warden. While it's in our stage, we're a warden. As a first enhance, we get to flip 1 foundation to unflip 1 foundation. Now, there are some fun flip effects in here, and after we flip a foundation that we're maybe not going to use, we can remove it with Pumat, especially after we commit it, to build an asset like Ceratos or Cape, or build another backup into our stage from our hand. So, pretty neat. And then onto our foundations. We have Daring Swordplay, a 2/5, 2 low block, breaker 1. So if we block with it, our rival's next check gets -1. Enhance, this attack gets +2 speed. If it's blocked, our next attack gets +1 speed. So really putting the pressure on our rival to force as much damage through as possible. We have Mikasa defeats the female Titan, 2/4 with a 3 low block. As a response, we flip this. After we block an attack, that attack deals no damage. So, again, very powerful defensive cards. We're trying to make sure that our rival deals as little damage to us proper as possible. Whether that's using our backups as human shields or using cards like Mikasa defeats the female Titan. Horrifying Realization, a 1/5 with a 2 mid block, form, flip. Each player discards 1 card and draws 1 card. If our rival discarded a foundation this way, they commit 1 foundation. This is a really fun card to unflip with Riani, because we can form, flip it. Oh, I'll discard this foundation to draw 1. Especially if I've stacked an attack on top of my deck with USS Ceratos. Oh, you had to discard a foundation because that's all you had? Commit another foundation. Then I'll play an attack, unflip it with Riani, after using Pumat to commit 2 more of your foundations, and then on my next form, I'll just flip it again, and maybe make you commit another foundation. So, and then any attacks that you discard with Horrifying is less blocks that can stop my Armored Titan rush. So that's kind of a cool synergy there. We have Swallowed by an Abnormal. This is a 1/6 with a 3 low block. Enhance flip. If this attack has a printed difficulty of 6 or greater, it gets +1 speed and +1 damage. It's mainly in here because it's a 6 check, but it can give a little bit of speed and damage to 90% of our attack pool. 80% of our attack pool. We have History's Greatest Monster. This is a 3/5 with a 2 mid block. Response once per turn, Tenacious, or playable while committed. After we play a card with a printed difficulty of 5 or greater, ready this card. So this is not only playing our attacks during our turn, but it's blocking with our attacks during our turn, or blocking with Ceratos, or blocking with City Rampage. It's very useful offensively and defensively as treating this card as 2 foundations. And then as a Deadlock Enhance, we can commit this card to give our attack Throw. So if our rival has to go into Deadlock because we're committing so many of their foundations, we can just give one of these massive attacks Throw. We have Monster Aggression, a 1/5 with a 2 low block. Enhance, sacrifice 1 foundation. Our attack with a printed difficulty of 5 or greater gets +1 speed and +1 damage. Keeps us out of Deadlock, which we can do on our character anyway, but it provides a little bit of extra speed and damage when needed. We have Titanic Combat, 2/5, 3 low block. Response commit, after we take damage from an unblocked attack, we build the top card of our deck face down committed. So if we do take a hit, we can get an extra foundation on for our turn. And as a face down, it's something that we can likely remove with Pumat's ability and not worry about it too much. And then during our attack, we can commit this to give our attack +2 damage and force our rival to commit a foundation. So Pumat is going to completely stun your rival out without technically using the stun keyword. So anything that says after your rival plays a stun ability, or if this foundation is committed due to a stun ability, none of that works. We have Fearsome Transformations, a 1/5 with a 3 high block. Enhance flip, draw 1 card. If we have no momentum, discard 1 card. At worst, it's card cycle. At best, we're just flipping to draw a card for free. We have Acrobatic Style, a 1/5 with a 3 low block. Response, Tenacious, flip. After our rival commits a foundation due to our effect, we ready this card. Another good one to unflip with Riani, because then we can commit it again, and then when we commit something of our rivals with Pumat, or any of our rival commits a foundation cards, we can just flip it and ready it again. We can always have this card ready to unflip. And the thing about Riani is it's not first enhance our turn. So if we have another card we're not using, we can flip that to unflip Acrobatic Style on our rival's turn. We have Magic Alarm, a 2/5 with a 3 low block and the spell keyword. Response flip, after the combat phase begins, our rival's first attack this turn gets -4 speed. So if we don't have Smiling Titan to block our rival's first attack, we can give it -4 speed and pretty much guarantee that we're going to block it no matter what. And lastly, Aaron's Sidestep. This is a 2/5 with a 3 high block. Enhance flip, this attack gets -2 speed. If it's completely blocked, we draw a card. So we discard cards a lot with Pumat. Well, we're going to discard maybe 1 per turn if we play an attack card on both turns. So being able to then draw an extra card defensively is really good for us, unless we're discarding a card to draw 2 cards, in which case then we're drawing 3, so it's still really good. But that is Pumat Sol Magic Proprietor. I really tried to give this guy the best shot that I could. I have made no bones about it that this is the character I'm the least excited for. But it did give me some ideas for maybe other characters, and maybe Pumat is the best character for this Emerge Victorious style play. I could certainly work on making him better. This is, after all, a day 0 meant to just show off what he wants to do as opposed to making him competitively viable. But who knows? I know there's a lot of people who are really excited for him, even if I'm not one of them. And that's the beauty of this game, is everyone can have differences of opinions of these characters, and a character I think is not necessarily my speed. I see how he can be very good. Someone else can just absolutely pour hours into making them the best Pumat that they can, and I love that about this game. So if you love that about this game, please leave a like on the video, and consider subscribing if you haven't already. I could use all the support I can get, and I will see you in the next one. Until then, take care.